Hello and welcome back to another backpacking video. I cannot get this smile off my face because I am backpacking in New Mexico for the very first time today. More specifically, I'm backpacking in the Gila National Forest, which is a place with some incredible history, of which I will talk more later. But for now, I kind of just want to get headed out on the trail. We've got about 7 miles to do today, and there will be numerous repetitive obstacles ahead of us. So let's get going. Today I am headed up Little Bear Canyon. Like I said, about 7 miles today to camp. There should be 18 water crossings on the way to camp today. However, at the end of that is a promising reward that I'm pretty stoked on. So let's get going. Well, the lighting on this sign is horrible, but I can tell you it says Gila Wilderness. And down here it says Gila National Forest. But it's the Gila Wilderness that is really important to me and to the world. And I am so excited to finally be stepping foot in this area. This trail will start with a climb, then a descent, then it kind of gets flat for most of the rest of the day. But of course we have the challenges of the water crossings. I did go by the ranger station yesterday just to verify water levels. They had a chart showing water depths, all of which, actually, my apologies, they had a chart showing flow rate, nothing too strong, and yeah, depths should be pretty low. So I'm not concerned with that, although the water may be pretty cold. But I do have some special tools with me to help deal with those water crossings, especially considering it is winter time. In terms of wildlife out here on the trail, there is a unique species that you will not find in most areas of North America. So, of course, we've got deer. I do believe there are elk in the Gila National Forest, but that's like 3 million acres. So I don't know if they're specifically in this area. Of course, we've got black bear, coyotes, mountain lions, but most uniquely is the reintroduction of the Mexican gray wolf in this area. So that is very exciting.
The reintroduction of the Mexican gray wolf began in 1998 when the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service released 11 wolves into the Blue Range Wolf Recovery Area in eastern Arizona and western New Mexico. This was the first time the species had been in the wild in the U.S. since being extirpated in the 1970s. Since then, the population has slowly grown, though challenges like poaching, genetic diversity issues, and conflicts with ranchers persist.
Naturally, wildlife and water crossings can be of concern when on a backcountry trip, but in particular for this trip, my biggest concern is actually wildfire. This area has had a very dry winter, and yeah, talking to the volunteer ranger, she was stating that the Forest Service is working really hard to cut back brush in certain areas in order to mitigate fire risk. Looking at the forecast, these next 2 days are really optimal, which is of course why I'm out here now. Yesterday it was quite windy, which of course increases fire danger. And then it has calmed down today. I don't know if you can tell from the sound, but there is essentially no wind. The daytime temperatures are going to get up into the low 60s, and nighttime is going to be quite cold at about 20 degrees. In the event of wildfire or any other sort of threat, danger, or injury, I always have with me my Garmin InReach Mini. I've had this thing for years and years with an active subscription and search and rescue insurance. I used to wear it on the shoulder strap of my pack because it was, as a solo hiker, the most sort of accessible place for me to keep it in the event that I fell and became incapacitated and wasn't able to get into my backpack, which might be on my back where I could be stuck. But now I've taken to wearing this bum bag, and I don't take this thing off until I'm at camp or if I'm sat down on a long break. But when I'm hiking through areas where I might have to go off trail into a steep section to use the restroom, I do often take off my backpack, but I won't take this off. So if something happened to me during that time, it would still be accessible. So it just sits right in there, and it's always with me. The only person I know personally that's ever had to use one had to do it due to a wildfire that broke out from a lightning strike in the area she was in. And since it is two-way satellite communication, when she hit the SOS button, she was able to talk to first responders who informed her that if she stayed on her current trajectory on her trail, she was able to safely make egress without requiring any rescue. And that's one of the great advantages of having a two-way satellite communication device, is you can get that real-time feedback and guidance. You're going to be able to see over there, but it looks like there's a red-tailed hawk and 3 ravens. I imagine they're probably having some sort of fight. I'm 2 miles in now and just getting to the top of the climb. It's only been, I don't know, like 700 feet or something, so really not challenging at all. The trail is very well maintained and not at all technical, so it's been pretty easy hiking so far. Really pretty. All right, well, I'm taking a break here. I thought I would talk about what it is that makes the Gila Wilderness so special and a little bit of the history. So, the Gila Wilderness is the world's first designated wilderness area. It was given that protection in 1924, and a lot of it is owed to the hard work and foresight of a man named Aldo Leopold, who worked very hard as a conservator and a philosopher to protect some of our public lands, including this one. Now, just because this area is designated as wilderness doesn't mean it's been without human inhabitants or human impact. In fact, in a valley not far from here called the Mimbres Valley, there's evidence of human life as far back from 200 BC. And just a stone's throw from where I parked my car at the trailhead is the Gila cliff dwellings, which were built by the Mogollon people about 700 years ago. Now, those people didn't just disappear, they became the ancestors to the ancient Puebloans, who then inhabited the area. But in more recent times, this was all Apache territory. This part of the Southwest was uh, inhabited by the Apache tribe, most notable of whom is likely Geronimo. Now, it was only 20 short years after Geronimo's death that this area became a designated wilderness. So it is at a significant point in history that that happened. Now, Geronimo didn't die here. The Apaches had been rounded up and relocated forcibly to Florida, so very far from their homeland, but notably, it just was not too far after Geronimo's lifetime that this became a wilderness area and designated to remain protected. Our public lands have different levels of protection, and that is sort of what the designation does for them. So there are national parks, national monuments, national forests, wilderness areas, and BLM land. All of that is public land, but it's managed differently, and it's managed with different philosophies. So the wilderness designation does have very specific protections. On the road again. Now we're headed down, so not too long. The water crossings are going to start, and that'll be interesting.
Wilderness designation provides the highest level of federal protection available. This designation ensures that the land remains as wild and untouched as possible, safeguarding it for future generations. No motorized or mechanized vehicles are allowed. That includes cars, trucks, ATVs, and even bicycles. Also, no new roads or permanent structures can be built. This prevents commercial development, mining, and logging from encroaching on these protected areas. Natural ecosystems are to be left undisturbed, which means wilderness areas are to be self-sustaining. No artificial water sources, habitat manipulation, or grazing leases. Recreation is allowed, but with limits. You can hike, camp, fish, and explore, but you won't find visitor center, paved trails, or large groups. The goal is to keep the human impact to a minimum, preserving the raw, natural character of the land. Finally, wilderness designation protects against future development threats. While other types of public lands can be reclassified or open to industry, wilderness areas require an act of Congress to remove protections, making them some of the most secure public lands in the country.
Got a little patch of snow right here. We're well into the canyon now. We got steep walls on either side of me here.
we started right here, and by we I mean you and me, because I am alone. Sorry, I just say we because I feel like I'm traveling with my viewers. So I started right here and headed all the way up this way. I took the high ridge here and continued on Little Bear Canyon, arriving right now to this juncture. This is the middle fork of the Gila River, and we're going to travel it a little bit up this ways towards this area to get to something really special.
This area that I'm at right now, where Little Bear Canyon and the middle fork of the Gila River meet, there's a ton, okay, probably 10 really good established campsites here. So this would be a great area to camp. There's some shaded areas, but mostly it's all flat, and yeah, it's already established, so I'm not going to be displacing any bushes or anything. I think the real river crossings are starting now, though. Well, in fact, what? That is so beautiful. Are you kidding me? What? I was actually just startled with how beautiful the view down this canyon is. I have to show you right away. Okay, here's something I did differently on this trip. As you can see, I am wearing hiking boots. These are Gore-Tex hiking boots. They are the Loa Renegades. They're a great pair of hiking boots. I also very much like the La Sportiva Nucleo. I've hiked in 2 pairs of those over the past 7 years. Yeah, I just don't like hiking in boots. I prefer to wear a trail runner. I feel much more nimble, quick, reactive to the ground below me. I feel like I can make contact with the terrain and my body can adapt more so than just forcing things to yield. It's personal preference. It's a popular opinion amongst a lot of people. And that's what I prefer. But why am I wearing boots on this trip then? Well, because of these water crossings. Now, I realize that even though this is a full-length hiking boot, it's probably likely that the water is actually going to come up over my boot. And, you know, that's fine. My feet may get wet. So actually,
Here's where I took off my backpack that had my microphone attached to it, so whoopsie! I'm showing you my neoprene hiking socks. These socks aren't meant to keep your feet dry, but they are meant to keep them warm. Think of a wetsuit for a surfer or a scuba diver. Fun fact, even if air and water are the same temperature, water will feel significantly colder because it conducts heat away from your body much faster. A common guideline in water sports is the 120 rule, which states if the combined air and water temperature is around 120 degrees Fahrenheit, it is generally considered safe without any additional cold weather gear.
another thing that I have with me all the time but seldom use are these trekking poles. These are Lucky trekking poles. I like the collapsible ones because I am much more frequently carrying them than I am actually using them. They are a useful tool to have for each person whenever they feel so inclined. For me, I wait for the terrain and conditions to warrant their use. Generally, I don't like hiking with them just for kind of typical easy navigatable terrain, but they come in great handy in the event of injury on trail. So I do like to carry them with me regardless of trail conditions. We're using them to help navigate the water crossings ahead just for an added layer of safety. Bam!
I wanna be there when the voices in your head are loud enough to make you lose your mind.
Watch, not
Just the
now.
same when you're
Don't tell me I hit
dominating
3
the
times my
day.
goal
I wanna
at
be
this
the one who's
moment.
by your side.
Not
You
helpful.
know my love is not the jealous type. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. Oh, I can stay or I can come no matter where you're coming from. I can be the one to let let you choose. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, just like the banks to the river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'm gonna break all your mirrors. I wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth a little clearer. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, I'll be the banks for your river. I'll be the banks for your river. I'll be the banks for your river. You are beautiful and wild at every turn. Who am I to take control of that? But everybody needs a voice they can follow when the water and the winds get bad. You know my love is not the jealous type, and it don't matter if we win or lose. Well, I can push or I can pull, no matter what you're trying to do, as long as I can flow along with you. I wanna hold you.
And before anyone tells me that I need to unbuckle my backpack when I'm crossing water, I am aware of that technique. It is, you know, a safe thing to do in a lot of circumstances. The flow rate of that water is about the same flow rate as a splash pad at a kiddie park, so I'm not worried about it. It's very slow moving water right now, very low volume, so yeah, don't need to worry about that so much.
Be the banks for your river. Baby, I ain't saying that you need my help, but you don't have to do it all by yourself. So baby, when the current gets strong, you need somewhere to rest your bones. I wanna be there for you, I wanna be strong for you. Oh, I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, just like the banks to the river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'm gonna break all your mirrors. I wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth a little clearer. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, be the banks for your river. Wanna hold you close but never hold you back, I'll be the banks for your river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'll be the banks for your river. Wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth.
Where's my point? Where do I cross to? Found it! Birds. I'm getting close to camp now. Not long ago I saw another group of hikers. It was two women, day hikers. They were hanging out at the area near where I'm going to camp because there's something special there that I still haven't told you about. Anyway, yeah, I'll probably be there within the next 20 minutes or so. Looking forward to that. Not gonna lie, feeling pretty hungry. I should have a bit of a snack, but I kind of just want to get to camp and work on prepping my dinner. Just have a dehydrated backpacking meal, but figure, you know what? Let me eat that first, and then if I get hungry later on this evening, I can have one of my bars or something instead of trying to do that within the last mile before camp, you know? So, these water crossings right now for this season have been easy. Of course, that's going to change season to season, year over year. So, it's just the conditions that we have at the moment. But I will say the actual trail conditions I've been extremely impressed with. Even through the brushy riparian zones, they have done tremendous work with trail maintenance to make it easy to navigate and really clear where the trail is really almost at all times. And that's not often the case. So kudos to them. My last water crossing for the day. Of course, I'm headed out the same way tomorrow, so I'll have to repeat that process. But for the day, I'm quite certain this is my last water crossing. And it is barely flowing right here. Just over my shoulder is something incredible that I'm so excited about. I'm so excited to end my day here. So I'm gonna set up camp and yeah, we're gonna get to it.
Hightailing it back to my kin. I used to drive to the mountains, swim in the falls that aren't there at all. The air is thick, can't breathe it in. I used to play on the swing set and see how far I could jump off. I need somewhere soft to land. If I fall, will you catch me? 'Cause I'm falling
case you're unsure, yes, this is indeed a hot spring. I am not just swimming in cold water. It's not super hot. It's definitely warm, though, warm enough. And it just feels amazing to have a soak after that hiking.
I'm falling, I'm falling. I'm falling, I'm falling. I'm falling, I'm falling. I'm falling, I'm falling.
Well, I had a lovely soak for probably like an hour and 20 minutes or so. Read my book, had my dinner, and now I've gotten out, put on my dry sleep clothes, and the goal is to just stay warm as the sun dips lower into the sky. I did see one other person that's around here. When I was in the hot spring, he came up. He said his name is Sam, and I actually saw him at the visitor center yesterday. He came up this way to look for a camp, but then ended up going back down, so I'm not exactly sure where he went. I can't see him. Down below me here is where the Gila River actually is. But yeah, maybe he continued on trail a bit or backtracked. So, no matter. I guess it's kind of nice knowing I'm not completely alone out here, but then again, he is a stranger, so. It's really beautiful here, though, and very peaceful, and just really, really enjoyed the evening so far. I'm just trying to spend all the daylight hours out of my tent as possible, because, yeah, once it gets dark, I'm tucked in for the night, and I've got about half a book left to read, so I imagine I'll make some good headway with that this evening. Yeah, this is what we're looking at right now with camp. Beautiful view. I'm up on this cliff a little bit on the canyon wall. Again, I said, yeah, the Gila River is down there. And then up this way, there's another site. There's one very small sort of flattish spot right here, actually, through these bushes. That one, maybe like a bivvy would fit there, but even my tent would struggle. Yeah, but from here you have a view directly down into my camp. So I can kind of imagine maybe why it wasn't an appealing place for that man to set up his camp. Yep. What an enjoyable soak in the hot springs, though. My hair did get a little wet, but it'll dry. And I haven't set up anything inside of my tent yet. I can work on that from inside the tent when it starts to get cold, and it's not really a bad idea to be moving around a little bit right before tucking into the sleeping bag so it can generate a little body heat and transfer that warmth into the down insulation. I can hear them before I can see them. When it's this quiet out here, human voices really do stand out. Looks like two men. Or is that a woman? Oh, that's a woman. I'm honestly quite surprised I made it up here before any other overnighters. I didn't really leave early, and it took me 4 hours of hiking. It really normally would only take me 3, but I filmed a lot, so that kind of slows the process. Oh, it looks like they're crossing the creek right there, or the river. I'm so nosy. Okay, Mrs. Kravitz. I just like to observe the world around me, that's all. I'll leave them be. I wonder if they feel that eerie feeling of being watched. I'm such a creep. really fully see them, but I can still see their movement. I think they're trying to decide where to go. Kind of through this juniper bush. I was seeing their movement like down through here. I don't see them anymore though, but I still vaguely hear them. It's pretty dark now, so I'm in the tent. Gonna start getting it set up while I still have a little bit of light. So the screen is gonna be, the image is gonna be pretty grainy because it is getting dark. Pull my headlamp out. Maybe that will help. Let's see. Yep, that helps. Get things a bit organized here in the tent. If you're interested in knowing what gear I have with me, I do have a whole video that's covering the gear I pack specifically for this trip. It's going to be linked up in a card and in the description, so you can check it out if you want details on everything like that. But these are my down pants in the event that it gets really cold. Yeah. Just keep these up over here where they're accessible. Where is my pillow? Alright. I'm in my tent pretty much for the night. I'll probably have to go out and go pee, but I'm still trying to drink some water, and then I'm going to make sure I sleep with my water filter so it doesn't freeze, because if these things freeze then they're no good anymore. But I'm staying up for a while. Like I said, I'm going to do some reading. I did go down to the river and actually collect water. I didn't take you guys with me because you needed to charge. But I talked to Sam again. He's on a 10-day trip out here. This is day one for him. I did see him at the visitor center yesterday. And then for the other two people that are hiking together, I didn't talk to either one of them, but I did hear the man came over and he talked to Sam, and they're just out here on a one-night trip. Just getting the neighborhood gossip, you know. But they're both camped down across one more river crossing, not too far from here, but yeah, there's not a lot of space up on this area that I'm in. So anyway, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, it's been an incredible day and a really lovely camp. I've got my food hanging out over yonder in my ursack, which is like kind of a Kevlar bag. So it's tied up real tight in a special kind of way. And
The hanging is sort of like a secondary thing. You don't really even need to do it because once it's tied up, animals can't get to it. Either rodents or larger animals can't get to it, and so everything that has a scent is over out of the tent over there. And it does help me sleep better to know that that's not in the tent with me. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it a night here for you guys, and I will see you in the morning. Good night. Can I open it? Instant energy.
Say farewell to this beauty here. What an amazing experience. I have immense gratitude for my experience here, and hope to be able to backpack the Gila again someday. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.